My name is Peter Wakaba. Now, government representatives from the Ministries of Labour from the African Union are currently in Nairobi to create a roadmap that will ensure the right of African migrants to, work across the continent. The symposium is also set to establish the requirements safeguarding the rights of migrant workers in all the member states. Take a look.
African states may have a lot in common, but when it comes to the world of trade and work, Africans working in other African countries away from the homeland find an inordinately largely amount of obstacles in their path. With this in mind, there are those who have been working for quite some time. They work on ensuring free mobility of labor in the region. All ministries of labor across the African continent have taken on the task of charting a way forward that works for all Africans. It is not expected to be easy.
Core elements in it is the right of entry, residence and establishment, and it came with the abolition of visas for members in territories of member states for community citizens.
52.6% of migrants in Africa relocate within the African continent. Challenges like lack of social security systems, lack of compatibility between different security systems, and insufficient administrative capacities are amongst the top reasons why implementation of free mobility has taken a while. For many investors, this can be very frustrating.
I think one of the major topics of conversation at this conference is to looking at legal labor opportunities and compacts between states so we can offer protection. If we can offer safe routes for people to travel and if they have opportunities to have to work abroad, then we're going to cut out a lot of the middlemen and the exploitation and the trafficking.
And as the Africa Renaissance continues to unfold, population growth means that new opportunities for youth have to be found and created.
Migration is a natural consequence of globalization and is noted to engage people's choices by increasing the opportunities for education, income and employment. Thus, international migration is seen as one of the key factors considered in the strategies of human resource development.
Proper management of the youth demographic and the associated dividend then calls for ease of labor migration, which coupled with a free market should see the Africans start to actualize a better life for all across the continent. Increased mobility bears large potential benefits for human development and poverty reduction through various channels. Julie Owino, KTN News.
Now, land and real estate continue to be one of the best asset classes to bring the best returns over the long-term period. Now, this is according to the 2018 Q2 House Property Index. According to the index, retail rental yields and property increases rose to 11.4% over the quarter, nearly 3 times the 4.27% that was recorded over the same period last year. This driven by rent escalations. Within Nairobi, Kitisuru led the pack with house rents increasing 2.7%. Langata posted the highest price increases in the apartment segment at 3.7%, while Tigoni was the best performing satellite town in house rent price increase, growing by some 4.8%. Limuru led the pack on an annualized basis with rents increasing 13.3%. Rwaka was the top performer in the apartment rental market with asking prices increasing 3.9% over the quarter.
Both the property and rental markets mentioned. Land prices across Nairobi and satellite towns remain depressed, even as developers take opportunity of renewed confidence in the housing market to clear present housing stocks built up over the last 2 years.
Now, Kenya is banking on growing exports in the manufacturing space and dairy products to grow revenues to the exchequer in the near term. Trade Principal Secretary Dr. Chris Kipto has noted that the adoption of the Kenya trade policy by the cabinet will catalyze the growth of exports through a robust strategy that is already being implemented. The PS said that Kenya was at the cusp of becoming a key trade hub, even as it prepares to host the second Kenya Trade Week from the 29th of July to the 3rd of August.
In 2017, our exports were about 600 billion, slightly below 600 billion. Our imports were about 1.7 trillion, so a gap of 1.1 trillion. And I'm talking about exports of goods and imports of goods. When you add services, we import less services than we export. In other words, we do well in export services. That's our strength. So there is a surplus of about 4 billion, or 400 billion. I talk about $4 billion, which is about 400 billion Kenya shillings, surplus in exports. So that brings our deficit to around 600 to 700 billion, which is still not one of the best. We seek to reverse the imbalance, and we have a very ambitious target to roll out our exports, an export strategy by 2022 to see whether by then we'll have come close to closing the gap.
The biggest areas that we want to focus on is championing the production of enough commodities in the country, sufficient to be able to export to the neighboring countries. We will also be focusing on ensuring that we prepare companies well, from the small, medium enterprises to the large enterprises. And therefore, this year's Trade Week is giving us another opportunity.
Well, that's it. We are all done with your business. Up next, well, is Robinson Okenya with a quick look at the day's spot. But for now, we'll leave you...